Welcome to a new episode of the Geek Report. In this episode, we will look into the news that dropped in the world of movies, TV, and anime for the weeks of July 13th through July 28th, 2026. So, let's get started.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing good. Hope you all are doing happy, doing blessed, doing safe, and doing well. Welcome to your Geek Report for the weeks of July 14th through July 28th of 2026. We got some news to talk about, so let's get started. So first off, we're going to start in our movie and TV segment. And let's just get the elephant out of the room. We need to talk first off about the Avengers Doomsday trailer that dropped. Okay, a while back we had some teases, but now we got a full-fledged trailer that we need to talk about for a movie that is coming out this December. I'm going to give you some of my overall thoughts and opinions on it, and basically what I saw and didn't see in the movie trailer. Then we're going to talk about the Clayface trailer. Now, this is coming from the Batman side of the DC universe. This is meant to be kind of a horror film. And I'm going to let you know why this trailer shouldn't slip your notice and overall what I thought of this trailer. Then we got a new Lanterns trailer. Now, I'll be honest. I'm not very hyped for Lanterns at all. The series coming to HBO Max that's going to focus on Hal Jordan and John Stewart, Green Lanterns of the Green Lantern Corps. But I will say this new trailer that we're going to look at did get me a little excited for it. Not enough to get HBO Max, but enough for me to keep an eye open on it. We're going to take a look at the trailer, and I'm just going to give you some of my own thoughts and opinions on it. And finally, we're going to end our movie and TV segment with some sad news that actor Sam Neill has died. He was known for many films, including Jurassic Park, Event Horizon, and The Hunt for Red October. I'm going to talk about this great actor, how he will be missed, and also what I think this kind of means for Hollywood in general. Then we're going to move on into our anime segment. And we got a trailer for a brand new Gundam series called Mobile Suit Gundam RG XARX-Zero, or what some are calling XARX-Zero. We're going to take a look at this trailer, how this is going to link to other Gundam series, including not only the original Gundams, but also the video games, and overall what I thought of this series. And finally, I'm going to talk with y'all a few minutes at the end of this video about the future of this channel, because as I stated last week, this will be my final episode of the Geek Report before I go on break for the month of August. But anyway, sit back, relax, grab yourself something to drink, grab yourself something to eat, and let's take a look at the Geek Report for the weeks of July 14th through July 28th of 2026.
Now, let's begin our Geek Report in our TV and movie segment. So, let's see what big news dropped in the past 2 weeks in the world of TV, movies, and anime.
Starting off this episode of the Geek Report, we're going to go into our movie and TV segment, and we're going to start with the trailers. And let's just get the elephant out of the room. I don't care who you are, I don't care, what type of movie you like, but there was probably one trailer in particular that caught your eye these past 2 weeks. And that is the Avengers Doomsday trailer. It seemed like everyone and their uncle was waiting for a proper trailer for Avengers Doomsday. And they finally got it these past 2 weeks. Alright. Now, a while back, we did get the teasers, like the small little teasers that showed, Professor Xavier, Captain America, all that. But this is the first official trailer for Avengers Doomsday. And I truly believe that this is going to be the beginning of building hype for this movie. Let's take a look at the trailer. And I'll give you some of my own thoughts and comments during and after the trailer. But this here is the trailer for the upcoming movie, Avengers Doomsday. So right there, you see the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters symbol. And it looks like to be beaten down or destroyed or whatever.
Something's coming. Something we may not be able to deter.
And right there, you saw Professor Xavier. You know, that's the original Professor Xavier, Patrick Stewart. So I'm kind of wondering if this ain't either the Age of Apocalypse or if this is not some type of Sentinel thing. Okay. And for all logic and everything, they could try and tie this into X-Men 97, which I think would be really cool if this was like an alternate reality where X-Men 97 continued happening. Because with Avengers Doomsday, you are dealing with different realities, different choices, different versions of Captain America and Peggy Carter and Iron Man, etc., etc. Okay. So I'm kind of wondering if that ain't what we're dealing with here and which alternate version of the X-Men are we going to get? Are we going to get the one where they're all wiped out by Apocalypse? Or are we going to get perhaps another one where they're all under attack by the Sentinels? Are they going to tie it into X-Men 97 somehow? I think those are some really serious questions we need to ask.
Something we may not be able to deter. Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision.
And I want to go back a little bit because I want y'all to hear something, okay?
To deter. Before this day is done.
So we know that Robert Downey Jr., who played Iron Man, will now be playing as Doctor Doom because in Avengers Endgame, Iron Man died. Okay? But he's going to be in this movie as a bad guy. And his accent really does show his acting prowess, that he can play this hero and he can play this goofy detective, but when it push comes to shove, he can kind of give off this aura of a villain as well.
We shall be faced with an unthinkable decision.
I've fought with many warriors in my time.
And there we see members of the Fantastic Four. We see Thor all the way in the background. It's kind of curious how they're going to play into this. You know, we saw them come to this version of Earth in the new Avengers. And now I'm kind of wondering, you know, what's happened since then. There you see Ant-Man, you see Bucky, you see Sam Wilson, Captain Falcon. It's weird seeing them all at the same time, you know?
Far stronger than all of us put together, and they died.
Thor still sporting the short haircut, and I see an intensity in his eyes, and I'm kind of wondering what happened to that little girl that he kind of adopted at the end of Love and Thunder, Jane. Did she die? Did Victor Von Doom kill her? I mean, seriously, like, what happened to her?
Died. They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one.
And there you see Cyclops in a traditional X-Men suit. You know, he's not wearing the black leather from the 90s films. He's wearing the comic accurate, like, X-Men suit. And there you see Gambit. And he looks like the Gambit we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. But that just could have been an alternate version. But still, the way they're doing, like, the energy cards and the fighting style against Shang-Chi, completely awesome.
Everything that they sacrificed will be for nothing.
Now, if you remember, this is Loki. And at the end of Loki season 2, he kind of ascended to the god of all reality, I guess you could say. And he's the one who holds all the tethers of time together. Okay. So I'm kind of wondering how he's playing on this. Okay. Did Victor Von Doom like kick him to the curb? I mean, did Von Doom do something that kind of made him leave the Tree of Life and the Tree of Time, Idrisil? So I'm kind of wondering about that.
If we do not stand together, put aside your petty squabbles.
Okay, that's cool right there. Seeing Mystique become the new Black Widow, Yelena. Yeah, that's dope.
Presume nothing except this. If you return.
Okay, this scene right here automatically tells me they're not going to do any type of tie-in with X-Men 97 because Magneto is still alive. Okay.
Who will return has brothers and sisters. But mark my words. We're going to need a miracle.
Hey, pal.
It's not possible.
Captain America. Steve Rogers is back, ladies and gentlemen. If you remember at the end of Avengers Endgame, he went back to the past. He got his dance with Peggy. Now, a lot of people are assuming that he made a life with Peggy Carter. I don't think that's necessarily true. Okay? I think he might have made a life for himself somewhere. Okay? Because in the teasers, we see him like riding a motorcycle and going up the steps and holding a baby. I think that he went and he made a life for himself. But I don't think it was with Peggy. I think he may have wanted to have a life with Peggy, but I don't think it was with Peggy. Because at that time, Peggy was still building S.H.I.E.L.D. She was, still an active agent. And there would have been way too much heat on her and too many eyes on her for Steve to kind of remain hidden. All right? Now, they could do it in such a way where Nick Fury found out, covered it up, in exchange for Steve kind of telling Nick Fury what all is going to happen in the future. Okay? And that's why he was so prepared for Captain America and the Winter Soldier. That's why he was so prepared for the Avengers and for Avengers Age of Ultron and all that. Okay? That's why he was so prepared. Because Steve went back to the past, had a life with Peggy. They have a kid together, and somehow, some way, the current Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, finds out that this Captain America came from the future, and that if he had tried to alter anything, it could have messed up the whole timeline. So instead, he kept things going as they're supposed to be, but still prepared for that day, because in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Nick Fury had like a secret base inside of a water dam where he got healed up. In Secret Invasion, he had all these spots around the world where he had caches of weapons and documents and all that. Okay, so I'm kind of wondering if that ain't what they're going to do. Where they're going to set it up to where Steve goes back to Peggy Carter, has a life with her, and somewhere along the way, Nick Fury finds out about Steve coming from the future. Steve tells him everything that's going to happen, but tells him everything has to stay the same, or else it could drastically alter the future. And so Nick Fury tells him what to do, and Nick Fury goes and starts making all these like caches around the world because of Steve Rogers' information. Okay, and I'm kind of wondering if that ain't going to lead to Victor Von Doom. Maybe Steve Rogers did something that wasn't supposed to happen or was supposed to happen, and that kind of grew Victor Von Doom, who now wants to rule the entire multiverse. And there you have the timer. 4 months, 27 days, 15 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Not too long until we get Avengers Doomsday, which is why I think we're going to start. Why I think now, right now, is going to really start building the hype for this movie. So that was a great first trailer for Avengers Doomsday. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a really good trailer. It teased a lot of stuff that's coming to the movie. They did not show Robert Downey Jr.'s face, but we know he's going to be Doctor Doom. And even though he was Iron Man, we know in this movie he's going to be a villain, Doctor Doom. Okay. There is a question that's been kind of rolling around in my mind a little bit. And that question has to deal with the fact that here lately, we have been seeing a lot of the Watcher. Okay. We saw him in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. We saw him in X-Men 97. And I'm kind of wondering if perhaps we're not going to see him in Avengers Doomsday in some way, shape, or form. Now, the Watcher is kind of like the Watcher of all reality. Okay? But he can't interfere. Alright? But in the series What If, he got Captain Carter and Kaori to kind of, keep the peace among reality. Now, we already know that Peggy Carter is coming back in this movie. And we already know it's going to be played by Haley Atwell. Okay? The question is, are we going to get the original Peggy Carter? Or are we getting a variant? And that's got to be the question with all of these characters. Especially with Loki in there. Are we getting the characters we know, or are we getting variants? And I think the majority of them will be characters we've already known, we already established. But I do think there will be variants. I think it's possible we could get Captain Carter. I think the Steve Rogers we're going to get is the one that went back in time and never returned. That something brings him forward through time. Probably Loki. Okay? More than likely, it'll probably be some doing of Loki because he's now like the king of all time. And he kind of saw what was going down with Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom. And he knew they were going to need help. So he goes and he gets Captain America, the original Captain America, Steve Rogers, at a time when he could. Maybe it was when he was supposed to die. Maybe it was, some other point in the past. Whatever. He gets him, he brings him forward. I think that that's going to happen. Okay. But we know that Haley Atwell will be playing in Avengers Doomsday. We also know that Peggy Carter has died in the Phase 1 Marvel MCU. Okay. So the question is, are we getting Captain Carter? And if we get Captain Carter, does that open the door for Kaori? Okay. Because in the series What If, it was an anime series that basically dealt with what if scenarios of the Marvel MCU. And Kaori was quite possibly one of my favorite characters in that series, but she was an original character, okay? And if we're getting Captain Carter, are we going to get Kaori? Okay, which I haven't really heard anything about. But anyway, that was Avengers Doomsday. I honestly can't wait to see this, and I'm kind of also wondering at the same time what tie-ins there will be to this and the upcoming movie Spider-Man Brand New Day. But yeah, that was Avengers Doomsday. That was the first trailer for this movie, the first official trailer for this movie. It comes out this December 2026. And I got a feeling that it is going to change everything with the Marvel MCU.
Continuing on with the news from TV, movies, and anime from the past 2 weeks.
So, the next movie trailer I'm going to talk about came out these past 2 weeks. And it's really interesting. And I'm talking about Clayface. And the reason why it's interesting, because this is really the first time we're seeing people from Batman's side of the universe kind of make the jump to the screen. You know, the DC universe, the DC cinematic universe, has not been doing well. You know, Superman was lackluster. Supergirl looks like it's going to crash and burn. We know we've gotten the announcement that they are doing a sequel to the Batman. And now we're getting Clayface and Lanterns. And I'm going to talk about Clayface first off, because Clayface is a villain in the Batman universe. Now, in the Batman universe, there was an actor named Matt Hayden. And basically, my first interaction with this character was in the old animated series from the 90s. And basically, what's going on is there was an actor named Hagen, and he wanted to stay youthful and keep getting these great acting jobs and all that. So he tried this experimental cream. But the man behind the cream was a mob boss by the name of Roland Daggett. And Roland Daggett asked a favor of Hagen. And that favor Hagen did not do. So Roland Daggett made Hagen pay for it by basically pouring the cream on him and trying to end his life. Well, it didn't. It transformed him, and Hagen went on a revenge spree to get the people who basically tried to end his career, eventually culminating in the Batman stopping him from getting to Roland Daggett. Okay. So that's my first interaction with Clayface, was the animated series. I'm very interested to see what they do here. Okay. I'm very interested to see what all elements of that they keep in this. Okay. So let's take a look at the trailer for Clayface. It's meant to be a horror movie. I've heard it's supposed to be a cross between body horror and revenge horror. And we'll see what all they got for us in this trailer. But this here is the first trailer for the upcoming DC Universe movie, Clayface. Now, this here is supposed to be Matt Hagen. And he's the actor that I talked about earlier. But this looks like they're taking out the whole mob aspect of it. Or at least how the original story happened in the animated series. And they're going with something new.
Show me. Show me. Do you realize? What do you want, Mr. Hagen?
I want my life back.
Now, they are keeping the actor aspect of it because you see the article there, Rising Star Matt Hagen. So this is probably after whatever caused him to go get the experimental treatment by all accounts. In the animated series, it was an experimental face cream. But it seems in this, it's going to be some type of experimental treatment to help fix his face and all that.
I know you. You're famous.
It's a tragedy what they did to him.
Boo.
Now, this right here is the scene where it probably shows them cutting him. Now, that's completely different from the lore in the animated series. Because in the animated series, Hagen was an actor who wanted to stay forever youthful. And so Roland Daggett offered him kind of a devil's compromise. Do stuff for me, and I'll make sure you get this experimental cream that allows you to stay youthful. Okay. Well, one time Hagen says no, and they basically just pour the cream on him, trying to unalive him. Okay, but instead it mutates him. So they're changing that because by all accounts here, for some reason they're going after Hagen, and he was set up by the way it looks. I'm just kind of curious if they're still going to keep the whole Roland Daggett thing on here, or if they're going to go with maybe another mob figure that was in the Batman, or that they're going to introduce into the DC universe, or what. So I'm kind of curious on that aspect of it.
I'd like to volunteer for human trials.
This isn't cosmetic surgery.
Even if it kills me, I'll be better off than I am now.
So what I'm thinking is going on here is that he was so desperate to be who he was. They kind of did this experimental treatment before it was truly ready. Okay. That's what was happening. That basically he was so desperate to go back to the way he was after the attack that he basically did a treatment that wasn't ready, and the scientists helped him do it, and that's what creates Clayface.
I'm okay.
You okay?
I'm okay. I feel great, actually.
I have no idea what side effects you'll have or how to treat them.
Now, that right there is another aspect of the character, because the character's skin and body are very malleable. He can shift them and change them how he wants. But in the beginning, after what happened to him, he had trouble controlling it, and it was something that Batman used to defeat him. But here we see, the eyes and all that stuff. So this is him probably at the very beginning when he can't control the shape of his skin and all that.
Sir, the seatbelt sign is on.
We're in unknown territory.
What's happening to me?
If you're harboring feelings of anger, you need to let them go.
You want to know how I feel? The people I trusted betrayed me.
Okay, so I think in this part of the trailer, we're going from a body horror movie into a revenge horror movie, where he goes for revenge against those who disfigured him and basically ended what was meant to be a shining career.
The justice system failed me. They stole my career, my money.
And apparently this is taking place in Gotham City, because if I go back here, you see Gotham police on those cars. So either part of the movie or all the movie is going to take place in Gotham City. So I would not be surprised at all if we saw either references to the Batman or the Batman himself. Although I do think that bringing the Batman in would be going a little too far, because you want this movie to focus on Clayface, not on the Batman versus Clayface.
My career, my money, my life.
I'm a monster.
Now, in the background, you see this hulking creature. In the animated series, that was the base form for Clayface. By the time Batman finally faces off him, Clayface can shift into these different people at will, but he always reverts back to this huge, like, monstrous form that's part human and part mud puddle. Is the only thing I could describe it as. I mean, it's literally a just gigantic form of mud, okay, that can take anything Batman throws at him except like cold water or really cold liquids.
I have no idea who you are.
And it is coming out on October 23rd, 2026, which means it will be in a good place for, Halloween. The reason I find this really interesting is because this is really the first part of the Batman universe that we're seeing. They're trying this whole new DC cinematic universe thing, and this is really the first from Batman's area of the universe. Okay. And we already know they are getting another Batman movie. They've already had one, but they are getting another. This is really the first look at what Batman's side of the universe is going to look like in this new DC universe, in this DC cinematic universe. We've already gotten looks at Superman and Supergirl and his side of the universe. Now we're about to get a look at Batman's. Okay, not only with Clayface, but with the upcoming the Batman sequel. Yeah, that's why this is really interesting to me, because are they going to take a real dark and gritty look at Gotham, a more light-toned look at Gotham? I mean, how are they going to do it? So I'm really interested to see what they do with Clayface, because I do think it will kind of set the tone for how the Batman is going to be portrayed. But anyway, that was the DC Studios upcoming movie Clayface trailer. It's coming out October 23rd of this year. I'm not really into like horror movies, so I won't go and see this. But I am interested to see what people say about it and check out some of the clips online when they do eventually drop online, to just kind of get a feeling of what the Batman's side of the DC universe is going to look like in this new DC universe.
Continuing on with the news from TV, movies, and anime from the past 2 weeks.
So, the next trailer we're going to talk about is Lanterns. This is the upcoming DC series that's going to be coming on HBO Max. It really has not impressed me. The first trailer did not impress me all that much. And I found really no reason to come back to it. But I wanted to give it another try. Maybe I was wrong about this, whatever. Let's take a look at this new trailer from Lanterns. It's going to drop on August 16th. And I'll give you some of my thoughts on it.
It's time to get up, Junior.
So, you're a space cop.
No, I'm just being trained.
All right, new lesson. Take the ring. You fly.
Just fly.
I'm sorry. Fly, please. What's that?
You're the backup quarterback.
For now. What do you think?
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I get the whole training aspect of him training Jon Stewart, okay? But like, I just can't, I don't know, I just can't get behind this. It seems like it's going to be really boring with a few funny elements and a few exciting elements in with it. All right, maybe it's just the way the trailer's made, but
Think is going on.
It's no accident we're here. These victims are gonna end up being alien.
Based on what?
I have a feeling.
He has a feeling.
I think this is more than just a feeling. This is a threat no one's ever seen before. What do you know about manhunters?
Where'd you hear that word?
Okay, that's very, very important. And let me go back there and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
What do you know about manhunters?
Okay, so from what I understand, and this is really the first time I've gotten interested in this. Before there was the Green Lantern Corps, there were robot machines called manhunters. And basically they fulfilled the job of the Green Lantern Corps. But they were too strict in the laws and they did not understand the nuances of emotion. And so they went out of control, killing people, arresting people, all that stuff. And eventually the Guardians had to replace them with the Green Lantern Corps, who were people who could understand the nuances of not only human nature, but the nature of other species. And basically, the Manhunters were basically relegated as like defenders of Oa and stuff. Now, in the Justice League animated show, they kind of rebelled and went crazy and tried to take over the Green Lantern Corps and actually destroy the Green Lanterns. But John Stewart stopped them. And now we see that they're here. So that's kind of interesting to me. And that they're bringing back the Manhunters.
Where'd you hear that word?
Manhunters are the most dangerous beings to ever exist in the galaxy. And it could take the form of any species. So it could be anyone.
He's gonna send an army to put you down.
Okay, that's really interesting right there. So right here, we have a face we all recognize. Guy Gardner from the Superman movie. So this proves that this is connected to Superman and Supergirl. And possibly Clayface and Batman. Okay? Because he was in the Superman movie that just happened a while back.
Put you down.
Do you resent Pal Jordan?
The ring's always been mine. Jordan's just keeping it warm.
Sinestro.
Oh my lord. They are doing Sinestro. So, according to this, Hal Jordan locked Sinestro away. And now they're showing him.
You don't really believe he's your backup, do you, Hal?
No.
Let's say what he actually is.
My replacement. In brightest day. In blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Okay, I'm going to admit that got me a little bit more interesting. The fact that they showed Sinestro, the fact that they are having the Manhunters, the fact they are officially linking it to Superman, that's not going to be some type of its own thing. Because in the original trailers, they did not have Guy Gardner on there. Now they do. That it not only feels like a passing of the torch from Hal Jordan to John Stewart in terms of the ring and all that, it feels like a passing of the torch in terms of the DC MCU from an older generation of comic book fans to a newer generation. From those who grew up with the comics to those who grew up with the movies and the TV shows and the cartoon shows. Okay, that's really what it feels like here. Okay, so this trailer did get me interested in this because they're bringing a lot of Lantern lore into it, especially Sinestro. But they also kind of made me feel like this is going to be the end of Hal Jordan. That Hal Jordan is going to die at the end, because how else is Hal Jordan supposed to pass the ring off to Jon Stewart if he doesn't die? Because that's the only way you can pass off the ring, is if in your death. So either another Green Lantern's going to die and give the ring to Hal Jordan, or Hal Jordan's going to end up dying and passing his ring to Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart finishing whatever mission they're on. So yeah, this trailer has got me interested in this. Okay, this trailer right here got me interested in this series, because the previous trailer just seemed so boring. It just seemed like they were trying to go for a buddy cop film where one cop was training the other cop, and they weren't doing a very good job of it. And the beginning of this trailer, I thought was more of the same, but then they started throwing in stuff like the Manhunters, like Sinestro, like Guy Gardner, and it got me a little bit more interested in this. Not enough to get like HBO Max, but enough to kind of keep tabs on it. But yeah, that was the trailer for Lanterns. It's going to be a DC Studios series that comes on HBO Max, premiering August the 16th. This trailer got me a little bit more interested to keep an eye open for it, but not enough to get HBO Max.
Continuing on with the news from TV, movies, and anime from the past 2 weeks.
So the final story I'm going to talk about in our movie and TV segment is about an actor named Sam Neill. Now, most people know Sam Neill from the original Jurassic Park films, where he played Dr. Alan Grant. But he played in more than just the Jurassic Park films. He also played in The Hunt for Red October with Sean Connery. He played in Event Horizon. Those are the three that I know him from. I know him from the Jurassic Park films, Hunt for Red October, and Event Horizon. And he was a great actor. You know, he always put in 110% when he took on a role. And, you know, he was one of those actors that you instantly recognized with a franchise. You know, with Jurassic Park, you knew, okay, if it's called Jurassic Park, it's going to be Sam Neill that's going to be a part of it. That was one of the major differences between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, was that it didn't have Sam Neill in it, I think, until Dominion. You know, he joins a lot of actors like Chuck Norris, Hulk Hogan, and many others who have gone on this past year. And really, it feels like this year in particular, we're losing a lot of great actors and a lot of great talent that made Hollywood great. And maybe I'm just not looking in the right spots. Maybe I'm just not looking where I should be looking, but I'm not seeing no great talents replace them. Normally, you know, when you see great talent disappear, another great talent comes up to fill the void. And with all these great talents just like disappearing, you know, dying off or retiring or whatnot, I'm not seeing any great talent replace them. And Sam Neill is another example of that, because he was a great talent. He did know how to act. He loved acting. He put his entire 110% into whatever role he was doing. And now I'm not seeing anyone, at least right now, I'm not seeing anyone who's coming along to take up that void that people like Sam Neill and Chuck Norris and Hulk Hogan have left behind in Hollywood. But yeah, Sam Neill has died. He was a great actor. He was especially known for the Jurassic Park films, the first three. But I knew him also for playing in movies like Hunt for Red October and Event Horizon. and he was a great actor, and he will be missed.
Now let's move on from the world of TV and movies to the world of anime. So let's take a look at the anime news that piqued my interest these past 2 weeks.
Now, moving on from our movie and TV segment, let's transition to our anime. And we've got a trailer I want to talk about. And that trailer is Mobile Suit Gundam RG. And I'm probably going to mess this up, but XARX-Zero, or as some call it, XARX-Zero. I found a lot of information concerning this, but it's on like 20 different websites. So I went to Grok to find out more about it. So apparently, Mobile Suit Gundam RG XRX-Zero, often shortened to Gundam RG or XARX-Zero, is an upcoming 2027 TV anime that serves as the flagship of Bandai Namco Filmworks and Sunrise new cross-media RG project. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to cross games and the models and the anime all into one universe. You know, I mean, you've got these RG models out there, this Gunpla out there that people put together, and they want to cross that with the anime and even video games. And it says here that the setting will be in a timeline called After Apocalypse. So it's a brand new timeline. So this is not connected to Gundam Wing or Iron Blade Orphans, 0008 MS Team, Mobile Suit Gundam, none of that. Okay. So it's not connected to any of those. Continuing on, the next notable thing is that the story is going to revolve around humanity receiving 3 revolutionary technologies: gravity control, faster than light communications, and cognitive materialization from an autonomous interstellar object from another galaxy, leading to rapid expansion across the solar system. So the anime will focus on that, and that the object suddenly went out of control and began spawning a self-proliferating, aggressive alien ecosystem that humanity dubbed the Apocalypse. So they're kind of taking like a Destiny 2 view to it, where this thing comes to Earth and gives you all this technology, but then suddenly turns on you, okay? It suddenly becomes your worst enemy. Continuing on, it says, after a brutal 3-month battle in Earth orbit, humanity was forced to abandon the planet, and the year of the Exodus became AA1. That's probably how people are going to say it. Instead of saying AA1, they'll probably say it's AA1. And that the story proper follows events around AA45, and a boy named Rei Azumi awakens on the lunar surface and becomes involved with the experimental XARX-Zero Gundam Zero while fighting the threat. Okay, so the big thing I want to mention is, first off, this is the first Gundam series where the main enemy outside of the movie, the Trailblazer movie for Gundam 00, okay, this is the first time that the main enemies have been alien. Normally, they're just humans from a different place or a different culture or a different faction of someone trying to gain control. This is really the first time we've seen Gundam go human versus alien. Now, we have seen that before in the movie, in the Trailblazer movie for Mobile Suit Gundam 00. Okay. But this is really the first Gundam series that has done the human versus alien thing. And down here is another important aspect, and it says the anime is a prequel to the upcoming game Gundam Rogue Orbit. Both titles share the same universe, but tell the story from different perspectives. Okay, so this is meant to be a prequel to the upcoming video game Gundam Rogue Orbit, which just dropped a trailer, I think, it was last month that they dropped the trailer for. Okay, so all this stuff is kind of, coming together for Sunrise and Namco new cross-media project. Okay, so you're going to have the Gunpla, obviously. You're going to have the video game, and you're going to have the anime. And I suspect that they'll probably also do like manga and movies as well. Okay, but I'm not going to sit here and say that 100%. But going back, let's take a look at the trailer, and I'll give you some of my thoughts and opinions on it. But this here is the trailer for Mobile Suit Gundam RG, XARX-Zero, or Mobile Suit Gundam RG. All right, that right there says it's coming in 2027, which I really don't have a problem with. All right, I think that object we saw just a moment ago, I'm going to go back. That right there is probably the big object they were talking about that I talked about earlier. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of the beginnings of Robotech when the super dimensional fortress Macross landed on Macross Island. That's the feeling I'm getting. And that must be like the aggressive ecosystem that was talked about, where it's all like metal. And honestly, it kind of gives me like, Android vibes, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, really, it's kind of giving me Nier Automata vibes, just by the way they're mixing like destruction and technology. Because you got like if you go back and you've got that, which I'm assuming is like nanotechnology, okay? Which, if you don't know what nanotechnology is, it's micro machines that can both heal and kill at the molecular level. And then you see this. And it looks like a cross between technology gone out of control and complete destruction, which is very reminiscent of Nier Automata. And there is something that we see in the Gundam series all the time. Haro. I swear, every Gundam series we see a Haro pop up somewhere. Now, there was something I did notice. This guy looks very similar to Zex Marquise. And no, he ain't going to be in this because this has nothing to do with Mobile Suit Gundam Wing or anything. But he's giving off that vibe. And I'm kind of wondering if not only will they have to deal with the aliens, but they'll have to deal with different human factions and how they respond to the aliens. Maybe you'll have one human faction who loves the aliens, another human faction who wants to wipe them out completely, all that. Now that right there, that's kind of like some Star Wars stuff there, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, But normally, you see them with the guns, but it just seems like right here it's just the laser swords. Now that was really interesting right there, in that if you look at his arm, it looks like it's not like a traditional Gundam arm. It looks like, honestly, like something alien. So I'm wondering if maybe halfway through the series, they don't take like alien technology and use it to rebuild Gundams or pieces of the Gundams and such. I'm wondering if that's the case, where like they have some type of technology where a Gundam, if he loses his arm, can detach a certain part of his arm that's left and replace it with alien technology, and it kind of just meld together. Okay. Or this could be like an infection where the alien has infected this Gundam and is slowly changing the Gundam's shape and form to become some type of monster. And this is the effect. And there you've got Mobile Suit Gundam RG, what they're calling XARX-Zero. Now, that's really interesting because Amuro Ray was in the original Gundam series, Mobile Suit Gundam. This is like the anniversary of Gundam. I mean, Gundam is working towards a 50th anniversary, which happens in 2029. And I think this is meant to be part of that. Okay, and it's really interesting to see that the name they chose for a pilot would be Ray, as that's probably a callback to Amuro Ray from the original Gundam series. Anyway, that was the trailer for Mobile Suit Gundam RG, what they're calling XARX-Zero, although some are just calling it Mobile Suit Gundam RG. This is part of Bandai Namco's road to their 50th anniversary, which happens in 2029. And also as a project for them to combine not only their Gunpla model kits, but their anime and video games, as this is supposed to be a sequel, not sequel, but a prequel to the new game that's coming out, Mobile Suit Gundam Rogue Orbit. Okay, so this is combining video games, anime, gunplay, and more than likely it'll combine manga as well. Pretty decent trailer. I can't wait to see what comes more out of it as more is released. It's coming in 2027, although we don't have an exact release date. I suspect it'll probably be around April because that is the official April. It'll probably be April the 7th because that's officially what they call Gundam Day. That was the release of the first Gundam series, Mobile Suit Gundam. I can't wait to see more of this. I'm a huge Gundam fan. I absolutely love giant mech shows and games like Mech Warrior, Robotech, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Mobile Suit Gundam 00, Path of the Trailblazer, all that. So, yeah, this is looking to be a really interesting show, and I can't wait to see more of it.
Now it is time for a special commentary concerning my channel.
So before I close out this episode of the Geek Report, if you watched my episode last week, you know that I will be going on a break for the entire month of August. That for the entire month of August, I will not be dropping any Geek Reports or special commentaries or really anything. That's not to say that I won't be keeping an eye open for news and stuff. It's just I won't be dropping anything until September. So before I close out this episode of the Geek Report, if you watched my episode last week, you know that I will be going on a break for the entire month of August. That for the entire month of August, I will not be dropping any Geek Reports or special commentaries or really anything. That's not to say that I won't be keeping an eye open for news and stuff. It's just I won't be dropping anything until September. So first off, if you've watched any of my programming, whether it's my geek reports, whether it's my book reviews, TV show reviews, anime, gameplay, whatever, I want to say thank you. And I want you to know how precious you are to me because I enjoy doing this. I'm not one of these people who's asking for money from my viewers. And hopefully it's going to remain like that where I won't have to ask for money to keep doing this. I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy talking about stuff that I like to talk about. Okay. And I'll be the first one to admit that we've hit some potholes during this year. My PlayStation 4 cut out on me as we were gaming. And yeah, I mean, we really hit a couple of bumps in the road. But I really do believe that with the way things are, it's getting a lot harder to record videos because it's a lot hotter in my room than it normally is during the summertime because I don't have central air, don't want to get central air, and it's just hot in here, okay? And every now and then I get an opportunity to do it. But also, I really need to kind of look at my channel, see what needs to be updated, see where I need to put my focus towards, what people like to watch, what they don't like to watch. Get caught up on a few videos that I need to do in terms of special commentary, book reviews, and that sort of thing. And overall, just give my channel a facelift. Really give it a facelift. All right. So that's why I'm taking the month of August off, is to really give my channel a facelift, to really look at what people like to see on my channel, and really try to find out what I'm going to do because it's looking more and more obvious that I'm not going to be able to get a console for my game streams coming in the fall. I really thought that maybe I would get lucky enough that I'd be able to get one, but it's becoming quite obvious that I'm not going to be able to. So I'm going to have to figure something else out in terms of live streaming in the fall. And that's something I'm going to have to talk about and really, look into in terms of my August break. But that's really what my August break is. It's basically a channel refresh. Okay. That's basically what it is. It's a channel refresh. Okay. Every now and then you need to do a refresh, and this is mine. But look, before I close out, I just want to say how precious all of my fans are to me. I want to thank y'all for watching my videos. Whether you like them or not, I want to thank you for watching them. Know that I will be back in September, that I will probably do a special geek report for all the stories we missed throughout August, and then start my regularly scheduled geek reports after that. I'm also going to try to get caught up on videos like special commentaries, book reviews, maybe even some movie and TV show reviews, because X-Men 97 is currently going on. We've got Star Wars Visions presents the Ninth Jedi that's about to happen in August. There's a chance I could go see Spider-Man Brand New Day, so I might do a review of that. And if I do, that will all drop in September when I come back. For the month of August, I'm just going to take a break, refresh my channel, look at what's working, look at what's not working, and really take a hard look at what I need to do with this channel. And what changes are going to have to be made, because it's becoming more and more obvious that I'm not going to be able to get a PS5 or Xbox One X or Nintendo Switch 2. So I'm really going to have to ask myself what I'm going to do about that. But I want to thank y'all for joining me for these Geek Reports. I want to thank y'all for joining me for all my videos, no matter what you saw. Know that I will be back in September. I'm just kind of taking a August breather to kind of get my breath from me and really look over my channel and basically just to calm my mind a little bit and decide whether or not I'm going to keep this segment or that segment or whatever. Do I still need to stream to YouTube? Do I need to go directly to Rumble? Do I need to go back to Twitch, which is something I don't want to do? I mean, really ask myself these hard questions. But thank you all for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I will be back in September with a new look, hopefully re-energized and ready to really bring y'all a better channel for y'all to find out all your geek news from movies, TV, anime, gaming, whatever. Until then, I want to thank y'all for joining me. I want to thank y'all for being here with me and watching my videos. And know that I will be back in September. And that when I come back, I will be better than ever. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was your Geek Report for the weeks of July 14th through July 28th of 2026. To kind of recap what we all talked about, we first started off in our movie and TV segment with the look at the Avengers Doomsday trailer. I told you basically what I thought of the trailer so far, what I think is going to happen in the movie, and just some overall questions I have about it. Then we looked at the Clayface trailer, and I basically told you what I thought of it. And I know this trailer is kind of probably sneaking under a lot of people's radars, but I don't think it should. And I explained why I don't think that it should be sneaking under people's radars. Then we looked at the Lanterns trailer. And I will say that this trailer surprised me because it actually got me a little hyped for this upcoming series that's coming to HBO Max. And I have some questions about it. And while it's not enough to make me want to go out and buy HBO Max, it is enough to make me keep an eye open on this Lanterns trailer. And then we talked about Sam Neill, a very good actor who has died. We talked about some of his films, including Jurassic Park, Event Horizon, The Hunt for Red October, and overall what I thought this meant for Hollywood in general. And then we moved on into our anime segment, and we talked about the new trailer for Mobile Suit Gundam RG XARX-Zero, or what some are calling Mobile Suit Gundam RG, or Mobile Suit Gundam Alex Zero. We took a look at the trailer. I gave you some overall thoughts and opinions on it, and kind of explained how this connected to other Mobile Suit Gundam series, and overall what I thought about it. And finally, I talked to y'all a few minutes about what's going to happen with this channel in the future, especially since this will be my last Geek Report before I go on my break in August. But anyway, that was your Geek Report for the weeks of July 14th through July 28th of 2026. I hope you guys are doing blessed. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying healthy. Check out my other video sites as well as my social media at the end of this video. And I will see you guys in the next video and in the next stream. Laters.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of the Geek Report. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got a moment, please check out my other video sites as well as my social media and give them a like and follow. I will see you all in the next video and the next stream. Laters.